replace the engine with thousands of pounds of coiling, crushing muscle. Now, imagine that this living school bus is slithering through dark, murky water.
Open your eyes! This is not a nightmare. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. This creature actually...
Today, we are just ranking a predator.
But before we meet the monster, we have to travel to the place where it was found. Our story begins...
This is the home of the Cerrejón coal mine. It is a scar on the landscape.
The environment here is hostile. The heat is suffocating, often pushing past 90 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade.
Day and night, massive dump trucks, the size of two-story houses, roar through the pits, hauling away the...
But Cerrejón is also a time capsule. Every time a shovel digs into the earth to extract coal, it is peeling back a page of history.
In the early 2000s, this mine became a magnet for scientists. But they weren't looking for snakes. They were looking for leaves.
A team of researchers, including curious students and seasoned paleontologists, descended into the pits during the brief...
The world they were studying was a world in recovery. The asteroid had hit 60 million years ago, wiping out the T-Rex and its kin. As the researchers sifted through the layers of shale and coal, they began finding bones. In the field of paleontology, context is everything, but assumption is a dangerous trap. The bones they found were massive vertebrates.
Crocodiles are known to grow to massive sizes. The bones were labeled, packed into crates, and categorized. It wasn't until years later that experts in reptilian anatomy took a second look at the fossils.
They began to notice inconsistencies. A crocodile's vertebra has a specific architecture, but these bones were different. They had a complex structure of ridges and knobs designed for one thing: extreme flexibility and lateral movement. The realization hit the scientific team like a physical blow. The anatomy was undeniable. It was a snake.
But the math didn't add up. The green anaconda is the heavyweight champion of the modern world, but next to this fossil, its bone looked like a pebble.
If the ratio of bone to body length held true, the creature that owned this...
They had found the Titanoboa.
But the discovery raised a more terrifying question. A cold-blooded animal relies on the sun to function. Unlike mammals like you and me, snakes cannot generate their own body heat. They are prisoners of their environment.
Today's Amazon is hot, but not hot enough. If Titanoboa lived there today, it would freeze to death. But 6 million years ago, the rules were different. The Paleocene was a greenhouse world.
Average tropical temperatures hovered around 90 to 95 degrees day and night.
This intense heat was the fuel that allowed Titanoboa to break the laws of modern biology.
The largest snake alive today top out at 20 feet, but Titanoboa weighed 1.1 tons. At its widest point, Titanoboa was 3 feet in diameter, wider than a standard doorway. On land, gravity was its enemy. A 1-ton snake would have been slow and vulnerable. But in water, gravity became irrelevant. The snake became weightless, transformed. Its ribcage could compress, letting it maneuver through flooded forests with silent precision. It could hold its breath for nearly an hour, becoming a landmine waiting to be stepped on. Its skull was an engineering marvel. Not a simple bite, but a docking procedure.
Its teeth were recurved, functioning like industrial fish hooks. Once prey was caught, there was no reverse gear.
Titanoboa didn't crush bones. It waited for the prey to exhale, then tightened. Inhale became impossible.
It could detect heat. It could sense your heartbeat through the water. Sharing the swamp was Carbonus, a turtle with a shell the size of a smart car.
It carried a 5-foot armored bunker because something nearby had the power to crack it open.
But the real challenger was Acherontosuchus, a 20-foot crocodilian.
Aggressive, territorial, armed with a snap-trap skull.
It is resting, digesting a lungfish, unaware of the pressure around it changing. Below the surface, moving without disturbing a lily pad, Titanoboa approaches.
The attack begins with an explosion of water. It aims for the neck, neutralizing the croc's only weapon.
The crocodile tries to roll, but without leverage, it is helpless.
One coil, then another. The moment the second coil lands, the battle is already over. When the crocodile exhales, the snake tightens. Inhale becomes impossible. The movements become jerky, then fade. Titanoboa waits for the last heartbeat.
Now it must swallow a 20-foot crocodile whole.
A single meal could sustain it for months.
But Earth began to cool. The thermostat turned down.
Its massive body required intense heat. Cooling turned its strength into a fatal weakness.
Nature selected for smaller snakes. Titanoboa starved, failed to reproduce, and vanished.
Today, we are rapidly recreating Paleocene conditions.
In the Everglades, invasive pythons are growing larger than ever. The early signs are here. The Titanoboa is gone, but the throne remains.